God's ways are wonderful, and they are the best. They are the ways of life. And for every believer, it's absolutely imperative that we find God's way for everything, and that we do life God's way. I want to speak today about finding God's ways, and maybe a principal matter regarding that. So from the point of departure for me is this: to know God's ways, you have to walk with Him. Contrary to our modern life where just about anything can be downloaded, you cannot download God's ways. They're not downloadable, if I can form a new word. To know God's ways, you have to walk with Him. You see, all of life with God is about relationship. It's about walking with Him and knowing Him. And the fact of the matter is, we need to find God's ways by doing life with Him. In other words, allow God to be part of everything we do and purposefully involve Him. Don't shut Him out of any part of your life if you want to know His ways. The way to raise your children, the way to do your job, the way to success, whatever you need to know in terms of the way, you'll find it from your relationship with Him. Now, there's an amazing statement made by the psalmist, King David, in Psalm 16 verse 8, that speaks about our walk with God on two dimensions, two levels. So I want to read that verse from Psalm 16 to you. It says the following. David says, "I have set the Lord always before me." Note before. "Because He is at my right hand, I shall not be moved." Note the right hand. And from that, something just struck me that I've got to walk with God, but I've also got to put Him before me. And it kind of became something of an order for my life. Firstly, I've got to put God before me, simply meaning that I've got to give priority, focus to God. In everything, God first. In everything, what does God say? I must put God as my top priority in everything I do. Start with God. Don't add Him as an afterthought. Put your primary focus on Him. That's dimension one, step one. But then, out of that, when I put Him before me as the one that I look to, He also comes and He's at our right hand. And I don't think it's such a correct theology to say we must walk with Him, as what it in a sense is to say that He is with us. Maybe I should rephrase that it is us walking with Him. It's not Him kind of following us like a little doggy would follow its owner. No. We follow God. And it's for us to stay next to Him, but we are then positioned next to Him. So He's before us, but then for real life, we walk beside Him. We walk next to Him. We move with Him. And from that place, He can guide us and catch us and bring us back if we move into the wrong things. And that's what we have to embrace. Embrace both these dimensions of life with God. God before you, priority, focus, but also God beside you, and that you can walk with Him and He will walk with you. I want to say again to you, it's from practicing these two dimensions that we will find God's ways. And the result that we gather from David's psalm is, because God is with us in such a way, we will find His ways. And as we walk in His ways, His wonderful ways, His best ways, then we will not be moved. And to me, that's the thing I want to convey to you today, is choosing God's ways by walking with Him, by putting Him as your priority in your life. You will become immovable, unshakable. David said, from my experience, and man, he went through it in his life, persecution, everything, but I was not moved because I had God before me and God was at my right hand, and therefore I knew the way, I knew where to go. So I pray right now, Lord, at the end of this power video, that you would speak and use these simple words to help every one of us to walk with you daily, to put you before us as our priority focus in everything, God first, and then God with me, and that you be part of everything we do, so that we may know your ways, and so that we may become unshakable, immovable in a very shaky world. Show us your ways, O Lord, as we walk with you. Amen.